One of the biggest challenges that I have faced since I started trying to write songs is trying to figure out whether a song that is being written or has been written is actually any good. When I was a beginner, I totally took this for granted. I assumed that because I have taste in music as a listener, that would automatically translate to having taste in the songs that I write as a writer. Over time, and many attempts, that assumption has proven ridiculous for a variety of reasons, including a tendency to love my babies. Like if I make them, I tend to kind of like them, and that's not really a very good proxy for whether I'm going to like them in 6 months, much less 6 or 16 years. So how are you supposed to know, if you have an idea, whether that idea is any good? I mean, one thing that I do often is to return to that song after not like 6 years, but more like 6 months and say, hey, do I still like this? And if the answer is yes, it kind of goes into my keeper pile. If after 6 months I listen back to something and I don't like it, I just dump it. I trash it. I literally delete the file. At that point, there's no record of the song ever having existed. And it's very unusual for a song to come out of the trash pile back into existence, to be resurrected. In fact, I can think of only one time in my life as a writer that has happened. And it is with a song that I have been working on tonight. The original version of the song was called Best and Last, and I wrote it during a really long song a day sort of program regimen that I was doing in 2016. And when I reflected on all those songs, there were a lot of keepers, and this one wasn't one of them. I wish I could play you the demo that I recorded in 2016, but I can't. It's gone. I deleted it in 2016, and I, as a result, never listened to that song again. I've said, I think, in other videos that, especially in a period when I'm doing a lot of writing, it's very common for me to forget the things that I have written. I mean, sometimes I can forget them over the course of an afternoon, certainly over the course of a couple of days or weeks or months. Once something goes back there, it very rarely resurfaces. I think the only exception is this song. I can't really figure out why. I always imagined it almost having like a country or blues sort of feeling to it that was different than if I just played a bad white boy blues. It just had a very specific kind of flavor. Something about that made it stand out in my memory so clearly, in fact, that it's popped up in weird times in my ensuing life as a writer and player. In fact, the most embarrassed I have ever been on a stage was at a blues jam where I brought my bass. I just wanted to sit in and thump out roots and fifths for the entire night, have a few beers, and then go home. Somebody invited me instead to borrow their guitar and play and sing a song of my own. Well, I don't actually play a lot of bluesy stuff and know a lot of blues licks. I can play those bad blues licks, but I don't know blues songs. I'm standing there on stage, staring out at the crowd, trying to think of something to play, and it was this song that I hadn't listened to in, at that time, probably 3 years. I was just well, I guess I remember how it goes. It was an absolute dumpster fire of a performance. Truly embarrassing. But it did sort of signal to me that there was something weird about this song. This song just crept back into my mind again when I was thinking about how I might put music to a lyrical idea that I had. The lyrics plucked a lot of imagery from old distant memories I have from growing up in Texas and going to the rodeo, including watching the riders who tried to ride bucking Broncos or ride bulls, which is extraordinarily exciting and kind of mind-blowing, because especially when they're riding the bulls, it just seems so unbelievably dangerous. The swirl of those images started to sort of form into lines and maybe even some metaphors or analogies, and I thought, wow, there's something here. I need to make a song out of this. And then suddenly, this old song, Best and Last, appeared in my mind, and it did seem like the right vehicle for this song idea. I don't know whether the song is good in this moment, but I do know that it uses something that's totally unique, a song idea that I actually remembered despite my best efforts to kind of let it go. If you have had experiences of writing a song thinking that it was forgettable and then finding that it was in fact not at all forgettable, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. And if you have a version of that song that is like online, please share it. I'm fascinated with this idea that some things get stuck in the writer's head, notwithstanding that in the moment they don't feel that special. I don't know whether this song is special, but it's being served to you. It's called Bull or Bronco. I hope you enjoy it. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you around. Oh, friends beating in the sand, clouds with bright faces and dirty pants, buckets of beer and wandering eyes. Are you a bull or a bronco tonight? Boots on my feet, gloves on my hands, two bruised ribs from our last dance. The star shakes, you're restless inside. Are you a bull or a bronco tonight? I guess you've been living your life in a cage. I guess after all these years that I don't know how to change. Oh. The gate and the road feels tight. I'm all out of prayers, but I close my eyes and think of the days before I had to fight to hold on. I want to be by your side. You're trying to buck